Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 185 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
Here's what's coming up in today's show. In our Noteworthy segment, Republicans aiming to take away tax-exempt status by declaring nonprofit 501c3 organizations as terrorists. Will animal rights organizations be targeted?
And in our main topic, it's been a rough week for vegan restaurants. We'll give you all the details on closings, bankruptcies, and devastating fire damage.
Before we get into all that, let's talk a little bit about what we've been up to.
Sure thing.
Our farm share started.
Yes, it has.
So it's been farm share salad time.
It sure has. Oh my gosh, starting on last Wednesday, we got our first farm share of the season. And let me tell you, there is very little I look forward to more than greens from our farm share.
The fresh greens, we got arugula, we got like a mixed spring mix.
And a red leaf lettuce.
And a head of leaf lettuce. And you don't realize how good lettuce tastes until you have lettuce grown in the ground and not bought it at a grocery store.
Yeah.
It's the lettuce that you buy at the grocery store is mostly tasteless. And it all has flavor. It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely amazing. So we're very, very happy that it is farm share time.
Yeah. We got some asparagus that we still have to use.
Oh, yeah, we do.
We had some beautiful little radishes.
So cute.
What else? Was that it? And a bunch of different greens.
And lots of different greens. Yeah.
That's usually how the season starts.
Is lots and lots of greens.
Because, they've been wintering over and growing those greens
they're cold weather crops.
All winter. So as the season progresses, we'll be getting more and more great stuff.
Yes, we will.
So I'm looking forward to that. We are continuing our journey at the gym.
Yes, we are. We took a little bit of a hiatus because my schedule got absolutely crazy for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. And I could have gone without you, but it's just not as fun.
It's true. Even though we really don't spend much time together at the gym.
No, but it's nice to know you're there. And I can always look over and see what you're doing,
Yeah, I mean, we start off in the same place. Like we both bike as our cardio warm up.
Yeah.
Before we do any weight training kind of work.
Yeah.
But Christine always finishes that a little bit before I do, and once she departs, we really don't see each other too much.
Not much. Yeah.
But in passing, but
like I said, it's still great to know that you're there.
Oh no, I agree. It's definitely more fun
it's more
for
fun
us to go together. And I feel like we keep each other accountable.
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. I mean, not like we really need to be held accountable, but it's nice to know somebody's there.
Oh, yeah.
If you really are slacking off, if I'm just sitting somewhere, you would be like, what are you doing?
Well, no, I really don't think I would be. I think my question would be, Pookie, are you okay? Not, what are you doing? Are you all right?
What are you doing? Get off your butt. We're at the gym. Oh, okay. So in our outline here, it just says Sam rant words.
Yes, because you see, last Thursday, I believe it was, while we were at the gym, I'm on the bike, and I have to say, before I say anything else, that I did 16 and a half miles on that bike on Thursday, which I was very proud of myself for.
Impressive.
Yeah, I was psyched. That's my record so far, which is really awesome. But at our gym, there are unfortunately a rather long line of giant television screens.
Sure.
Right in front of all of the cardio equipment.
Yeah, I think most gyms do that now.
Yeah, I think so too. And so anyway, I happened to look up at one point, and my eyes were drawn to the Fox News TV.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yes, very unfortunate. But anyway, that's where my eyes went. And all I saw was, kind of the banner across the bottom of the screen that said, federal government bans the word equity.
Yeah, they're banning words now.
Well, now, this started right at the beginning of the term. The administration did release a list of about 250 words that were to be banned from all federal documents.
Right.
So all federal legal language, et cetera, et cetera. And so anyway, I was so incredibly ticked off by, and I think it might have been part of what spurred me to 16 and a half miles on the bike.
Rage.
Exactly. I was rage biking.
Yeah.
But I was so upset by this that I decided to do a little bit of research and figure out how many words have in fact been banned. And we don't have an exact count, but I can say that the list is definitely expanded to more than 350 words. And these are words that range from abortion to women.
Yeah, we're banned.
We are banned, yes. Disability.
Yeah.
Elderly. Native American. The Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's expanded to include phrases that encompass desirable goals like safe drinking water. The phrase safe drinking water cannot appear in environmental legislation.
Yeah. What does that tell you?
What does that tell you? Or how about the elimination of photos from a Defense Department database of World War II B-29 aircraft Enola Gay while erasing the recognition of LGBTQ Americans, which, by the way, LGBTQ, banned.
That's banned. Yeah, they also erased a lot of black veterans, and I think they also erased a lot of women and black, like engineers and stuff, off of the NASA.
Oh yes,
site.
and of course the words black and Latinx banned.
Yeah,
as are gay, gender-based, gender-based violence, gender diversity, gender identity. Gender ideology.
I know hate crime has been banned.
Yes. Racial diversity, racial identity, racial inequality, racial justice, racially racism, anything in those realms. Minorities or minority in the singular.
Right. Exactly. How do they do studies? They probably won't be doing studies, but exactly how do they do studies around the state of our union if they cannot use most of these words?
Right.
Especially the word minority.
Yes.
Right.
But then we get to underprivileged, underrepresented, underrepresentation, underserved, understudied, undervalued.
Yeah, this is all woke
And
stuff.
then we get victim, victims, vulnerable. The word vulnerable.
Yeah.
Banned. And of course, equality, equitable, equity, equal opportunity. And of course, some of our favorites, environmental justice, environmental quality. Come on. And so anyway, what do they really think they're going to accomplish? Because really, these are very clear attempts to do one of four things. Okay. One is to abolish the idea of anti-racism. It is to enshrine racism or the celebration of sameness within a white, male, Christian, privileged group of people. And to celebrate that sameness while eschewing anything and everything that is different from that.
Yep.
It's meant to deny the rights that have been hard fought and hard won by the LGBTQ community.
It's meant to deny the fact that that fight even needed to occur.
That's right. Yeah. No, the banned list even includes the phrase men who have sex with men. The term man is not banned.
Right.
The term men is not banned.
Right.
But men who have sex with men. The word feminism, banned. Sexual preference, sexuality, non-binary. The words they and them.
Yeah, how do you ban they and them? How do you form sentences without they and them?
Yes.
It's just ridiculous.
So for decades, MAGA has fought to define a human embryo as a child, but now they're fighting over the gender assigned at birth. They've actually banned the idea of male assigned at birth or female assigned at birth. The phrase assigned at birth is apparently no longer valid.
Right.
Also, the words breastfeed, apparently that's no good.
Okay.
Apparently that's no good.
Right.
As are the terms biologically female and biologically male.
Right. Okay. We're just denying biology now.
Apparently.
Okay.
Yes. Now, of course, also, this is used to be denying science. We know that our current president is a big-time climate denier. Huge. So the fact that so many of these banned words are swirling around the issue of global warming just shows how irresponsibly he is acting by ignoring and attempting to destroy research and progress in defeating global warming, or at least addressing it in some way.
No,
So-
he just completely denies that it exists.
Yes. So clean energy, climate crisis, climate science, gone. Also, where it comes to foods, he doesn't want fluoride.
The word fluoride.
The
is
word
banned?
fluoride is on the banned list, as is the word measles, autism, COVID-19, mental health.
Yeah, we can't, nothing bad ever happens
No.
under his rule, right?
Yes.
Nothing bad. So let's just ban the words of the things that happen around him.
Also banned dietary guidelines, ultra-processed foods, peanut allergies.
So allergies are now banned.
That's right.
Okay.
As are vaccines. And of course, you can't have people-centered care. Nothing can be person-centered. There is no such thing as a health disparity, and there is no such thing as health equity. No such thing as environmental justice or environmental quality. Things can't be science-based. It's just insane to me. As someone who has been a lifelong lover of words, there's really not much in the world that I love more than words. The idea that words could be something to fear,
Right.
something to be obliterated, is just completely antithetical to just to existence.
Yeah. And, bear in mind that this isn't just some crazy whim that came to, this isn't Donald Trump.
Oh,
this,
no.
This isn't Donald Trump.
No.
This is the Heritage Foundation
This
and
is
Christian
Project
nationalism.
2025.
This has, people will make it seem like this is just some crazy thing that he came up with in his brain, but no, this has been the plan all along by the Heritage Foundation and Christian nationalists to implement all this anti-science and anti-humanity and to erase the history of our country, erase all the scientific research that has been done, erase the people that were involved in that, if they were Black women,
Yes.
if they were gay or trans. This is not something Donald Trump came up with. He could care less about this stuff.
Yeah.
He really could.
Oh, yeah.
As long as he's able to play golf and look like a big shot, that's all he cares about.
Yeah.
And he'll back everything they say because he's a puppet for them.
Yep. Now, in my research, I came across a really lovely passage written by Rodney W. Kennedy, who is a pastor and writer in New York State. He's written 11 books, including his latest, which I fully intend to read, which is called Dancing with Metaphors in the Pulpit. But I just want to read these 2 paragraphs.
Okay.
He says, "In my self-assessment, I stand with Whitman to affirm to want nothing which all cannot have. I affirm I have not been under the influence of alcohol or opioids. I have pointed out the disparity in Trump and MAGA's relentless campaign against democracy. If my defense of democracy puts me at risk, so be it. Others may stereotype me as a typical progressive, but I am at peace with my expression. There is nothing to fear in the words on the banned list, and I have taken it on myself to move them all to the celebrated words list. I believe all words should be free to walk in the corridors of all minds at all times. There are more than 1 million words in the English language, and I don't want to lose even one."
Here's the thing. So the book banning started, right?
Yeah.
And that started years ago. So banning books, banning words, banning science. Next is thought police, right?
Well, this already is thought police.
Yeah.
Banning words, banning books is banning thought.
Yeah.
Banning learning, banning the right to question. What's one of the first things they did in Nazi Germany as Hitler was on the rise? They burned all the books.
Yeah.
That held contrasting viewpoints to the dominant paradigm.
Right.
Or the paradigm that was on its way to becoming dominant, I should say. And so how do you have an intelligent conversation without these words? How do you have a difficult conversation about these words? How do you identify yourself or the person sitting next to you or your colleague at work without these words? It's insanity.
It is insanity. But let's clarify that these words are banned within
the federal government. That's right.
We're talking documents. We're talking websites. We're talking federal information.
Yeah.
Right? We're not like, I don't want people panicking thinking you can't say these words in public.
Quite the opposite.
Yeah.
Make sure you do.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
No, absolutely.
I agree.
Serious.
I think that we need to be aware of every single word that the federal government is coming for.
Yeah.
And to use it shamelessly and wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
As often as we possibly can.
Yeah.
In as many contexts as we possibly can. And to encourage everybody around us to do the same.
Yeah. Take that list of words. You'll have to send me a, do you have a link?
I do have a link. Oh, okay. Yes.
Send me a link. I can include it in the show notes. And, I don't know. Let's just write a letter using nothing but those words.
I love that idea. Yes, I love that idea.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Now, the White House has said that it did not create a banned words list, but instead left it to federal agencies to interpret how to comply with executive orders that solely recognize male and female sex and eliminate diversity, equity, and inclusion programs.
Right.
Nonetheless, some departments have added terms that seem to have nothing at all to do with these particular executive orders, including anything that's related to human health and the environment.
I mean, what are they supposed to do? Come up with new words?
Well, no, this is just a scrubbing of these ideas.
No, I understand what it is. I understand.
It's not that they're looking for new language.
Right.
They're not.
No.
They're just looking to eviscerate the language that exists because they want to eviscerate the concepts.
Yeah.
These things do not exist. These are fake news.
Right.
These are false concepts.
Yes, this is all a woke agenda.
That's right.
All of those words.
You've been hoodwinked.
Yeah.
By the left lunatics, the liberal left lunatics.
Yeah, and scientists.
Yeah, and scientists and doctors.
Biologists and doctors and, the people with brains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So we're going to put a link to this list in the show notes, and I hope you will take advantage of it to make yourself aware of what they are doing under kind of sort of cloak of darkness, because this is not something you hear a lot about.
You don't, but there's so much smoke from other things always, and that's the plan.
Yeah.
Let's talk for weeks about a used airplane that Qatar is trying to pawn off on the president. Yeah. Let's talk about that for a week. Let's talk about anything but what's actually happening.
That's right. It's all misdirection. It's all smoke and mirrors.
It is.
Yeah.
And really is.
And that's why we need to get behind the smoke.
We do. And I don't know if I recommended this last week. I may have. But I would recommend following Under the Desk News for short and concise, daily, sometimes twice daily news reports of what is going on in our country.
Yes.
It's not like doom scroll stuff. It is facts and how we can react to them.
That's right.
So, yeah, Under the Desk News.
In the meantime, use your words.
Use your words.
Use your words and embrace your words. Love and cherish those words.
Is that end rant?
Yes, I suppose it will end the rant.
For now.
For the moment.
For now.
I suppose.
Because we have something fun.
We have something fun?
Yeah, we have a recipe this week.
Yeah, we do.
It's been a number of weeks.
It's been a hot minute.
I think. Yeah, I think it's been a while. It was actually like a three-for recipe this week.
Yes. See, now, when Christine makes up for not having done a recipe in a while, she really makes up for not having done a recipe in a while.
I spent the whole day in the kitchen today. Yeah. So I made out of Terry Hope Romero's beautiful book, Vegan Eats World, I made her shakshuka, her eggplant shakshuka. And on that shakshuka out of this book, I also made her green tahini sauce, which was delicious. And to go with it, I made Nisha Vora's flatbread.
Also.
So it was a veritable kitchen extravaganza.
It was a kitchen extravaganza,
Yeah.
and it was a beautiful meal. Oh my gosh. It was just so fantastically fresh and vibrant, like this beautiful shakshuka made of eggplant and bell peppers and some spicy peppers and tomatoes and what else was in there? There was so much.
There's a lot of stuff in it. I'll just give you her description if you're not familiar with shakshuka. It's a rustic simmered dish of saucy peppers, onions, and tomatoes, begging to be scooped up with pita or crusty bread. It's a common entree in Israeli restaurants in New York City, but variations on it are found all over the Middle East. Sometimes poached eggs are added to shakshuka, and that you might know of that. But this is a vegan recipe, and the star of this recipe is definitely the eggplant. Mm-hmm. And plenty of beautiful spices.
Yes.
Cumin seeds and coriander and just garlic, and it's very fragrant. It's a very fragrant dish.
My gosh. The smell in the living room as Christine was cooking in the kitchen was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, really amazing.
Yeah, it was delicious.
And it was a nice cool day today.
Yeah.
So it was great to have something that was kind of warming.
Yeah, it was actually a little chilly today.
Yeah.
I mean, it is currently 52 degrees out, so.
Nice.
Yeah. So it was a good day to be in the kitchen all day.
Yep.
And I really liked this recipe.
I did too.
Yeah.
I do hope that one will come up again.
Yeah, while it was a little time consuming, and also because I made the bread, that takes time, it wasn't a difficult recipe. And
no, it didn't look to be difficult.
yeah, and nothing really crazy in it. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe some of the spices you might have to get your hands on. But other than that, it's pretty accessible.
Yeah.
You know, so it's Vegan Eats World by Terry Hope Romero. And you might remember that she co-authored with Isa Chandra Moskowitz, the Veganomicon.
Yep.
Which is
kind of
so good. Such a great book.
If there's a canonical vegan cookbook,
Yeah.
that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll put a link to the book also in the show notes if you want to get a copy of this book for yourself. It is a great book, and we've made other recipes on the show from it. I think back in episode 77, we made her Moroccan vegetable phyllo pie. Remember that?
Yes, I do.
That was insane.
That was insane.
Yeah, that was a very impressive recipe.
Yep, for sure.
It's this big round phyllo pie.
Oh, it was so cool.
It was delicious.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, so it's a great book. There's wonderful recipes in it, and they're the kind of recipes where you spend a day, maybe a weekend preparing to make sure you have all the ingredients, and then you have to love spending some time in the kitchen because it takes time to build the flavors.
Yep.
They're not hard, but they're a little time consuming.
Yep.
Because you're building so many, wonderful flavors. So
absolutely.
Yeah. I guess that takes us to our noteworthy segment, which brings us back into the realm of the hellscape that we're currently living in.
Yes, indeed. And of course, amongst all of the words that are currently being banned by the federal government, one of the words that is alive and well and being used in, I would say, inappropriate ways is the word terrorism. Mm-hmm. The Republican tax bill could slap terrorism label on nonprofits opposed to Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Fears have been sparked that Trump would wield law against groups that file lawsuits or organize voters against his policies. That's a surprise.
Geez. What's that smell? I think it's fascism.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Nonprofit groups are sounding the alarm over an attempt by Republican lawmakers to insert a provision allowing the government to cancel the tax-exempt status of organizations it deems terrorist supporting in a massive bill under negotiation in the House of Representatives. The provision's potential inclusion in the spending and taxation legislation that Donald Trump and his allies refer to as one big beautiful bill has sparked fears that the administration will wield it against groups who file lawsuits or organize voters against his policies. Leah Holland, campaigns and communications director at tech policy nonprofit Fight for the Future, described the provision as a 5-alarm fire for nonprofits nationwide. Any organization with goals that do not line up with MAGA can be destroyed with a wink from Trump to the Treasury. Likely those that oppose his policies towards Israel or advocate for causes like racial justice and the environment, they said. Trump had made plain his desire for revenge against his enemies, and since taking office has sought to deport foreign students who engaged in pro-Palestinian activism, blacklisted law firms who have worked for his political opponents, and backed the arrest of a county judge on charges of obstructing immigration authorities. The provision has nothing to do with keeping Americans safe, and instead is an attack on free speech, the security of our communities, and the work of nonprofit organizations and charities, said Skye Perryman, president and CEO of Democracy Forward, which has repeatedly taken the White House to court over its policies. The Trump-Vance administration's unprecedented onslaught against Americans' constitutional rights is unpopular and has failed in court over and over again. This attempt by the president's allies in Congress should be rejected by any lawmaker who values civil society. The legislation is a top priority for Congress's Republican leaders who expect to use the budget reconciliation procedure to overcome Democratic opposition in the Senate and enact it on a party line vote, potentially as soon as the 4th of July. Many aspects of the bill remain under negotiation in the House, but it is generally expected to implement a range of Trump's campaign promises, including the extension of tax cuts enacted during his first term, the construction of a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border, and temporary relief from taxation of tips, overtime, and car loan interest. To satisfy the president's demand for stricter border security and the deportation of all undocumented immigrants, it will authorize more funding for agencies like Immigration and Customs Enforcement and the Border Patrol. The GOP controls the House by a tiny 3-vote margin, and considerable disagreements remain among members over aspects of the bill. The House Speaker, Mike Johnson, and other top Republicans have proposed offsetting its costs by reducing funding to social safety net programs that pay for food and health care for poor and disabled Americans, sparking unease among some of their moderate members.
Unease. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that would spark a little unease.
A little unease.
Yeah.
Because how are those Republicans supposed to go back to their districts and say, yes, I voted for this big bill that cuts Medicaid and cuts Medicare and cuts SNAP and cuts all of the resources that the underprivileged, oh, wait a minute, we can't use that word anymore.
That poor people are relying on.
That's right. Republicans representing districts in states with high taxes, such as New York, New Jersey, and California, are demanding a bigger deduction for local tax payments, while right-wing fiscal hawks are threatening to vote against the bill if it does not make deep cuts to government spending. But $45 million for a military parade's okay, right?
45. I heard it was 96.
Oh, is it up to that now?
That's what I heard.
Last number I saw was 45. Okay. Yeah. Apparently 45 wasn't enough. They had to more than double it.
Yeah, where are we going to get that money? Oh, by taking food out of poor kids' mouths.
That's right.
Oh my God.
Let's take it out of Social Security.
Yeah. Are we being ruled by the Burger Meisterburger? Or
something along those lines.
What is happening?
Seriously. There appears to be little in the way of disagreement in the GOP over the provision targeting nonprofits, which is similar to a bill that the House passed last November with a small amount of Democratic support. But federal law already includes harsh penalties for terrorist organizations and their supporters, including loss of tax-exempt status. And nonprofits view the new language as both unnecessary and questionable at a time when the president has made vengeance a priority.
This is the vengeance administration.
Allowing the Secretary of the Treasury to unilaterally designate Section 501c3 nonprofits as terrorist-supporting organizations while requiring those organizations to prove their innocence runs counter to constitutional due process. Independent Sector and the Council on Foundations, both organizations that represent the nonprofit sector, said in a statement, the provision would also give future administrations of any party a new tool to use against their own opponents. Holland of Fight for the Future warned. This is a First Amendment issue. No president should have the right to destroy nonprofits for no reason. Now let's think for just a moment. What groups might be prone to coming under the Treasury Secretary's eye in this context?
Why are we, Compassionate Cucumbers, talking about this terrible add-on on this big, beautiful bill? It's because there are dozens and dozens of nonprofit organizations that support animal rights.
Dozens? Let's go hundreds.
Yeah, there's hundreds.
Possibly thousands.
Probably thousands.
And it's not just about animal rights. It's about LGBTQ rights.
Sure.
It's about Black rights.
Right.
It's about women's rights.
Yeah.
These are the organizations that are going to come under scrutiny.
And all they have to do, if this bill goes through, if one of the rich landowners says, hey, I've had some people picketing outside of one of my slaughterhouses or outside of one of my CAFOs, find out who those people are and take away their tax-exempt status.
And there you have it.
And once they lose their 501c3 status, it takes them off the table to get outside donations to their organization.
Yes.
And like Sam said, that same thing can happen to LGBTQ plus organizations that are out there supporting like gay youth and trans youth.
Yes.
And suicide prevention and all of these nonprofit organizations. They can just wipe them off the map.
That's right. And we're not just talking about the smaller ones, we're not just talking about the ones that I tend to give to, but also we could be talking about the ACLU.
Sure.
We could be talking about the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Yeah, move.org.
We could be talking about PETA.
Yeah.
We could be talking about MoveOn.org. We could be talking about the National Organization for Women. We could be talking about the Stonewall Foundation. These huge organizations that are now, especially giving the word banning that we were talking about just a little while ago, are directly in opposition to the policies of this administration.
Yeah. Now, a lot of those organizations that Sam mentioned are fighting this.
Oh, yes. Visibly and audibly.
Yes. And extremely, some of them. And you might not be surprised to find out that amongst the organizations that are fighting this bill and this amendment to the bill are Catholic charities, a lot of religious organizations, because this includes churches, people.
Of course it does.
And how many times have we said, maybe just off the cuff, they need to start taxing churches? How can that work against us? This is how that can work against us.
This is how it can work against us, particularly given that, our brand new Pope Leo XIV snubbed our vice president, which I have to say, I was saying, go Leo, but snubbed our vice president after his inaugural mass just a couple days ago. So, so it could impact churches as well.
Yeah. And as I said before, there's a really good interview on Under the Desk News about this situation. I'm going to include a link to their website and their YouTube. So you can check that out for yourself. But yeah, a lot of organizations fighting hard for this not to happen. And this could be a huge blow for some of the organizations that we love and support.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you are able, double down on your support for these organizations that are fighting for the causes, the rights, and the freedoms that we believe in.
Yeah. And per usual, we recommend that you contact your legislators.
Always.
And let them know that, A, you know about this because there's so much going on.
Yep.
And B, if they vote yes on this bill, you will vote no on them.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Let them know it. And if it's not enough that it's been a rough week in political news,
it's not enough.
It's also been a rough week for vegan restaurants.
Yeah, that brings us to our main topic. Yeah, like Sam said, it has been a rough week for a lot of vegan restaurants in our country. Number one, Modern Love Brooklyn, who we know and love, has announced that they will be closing.
Yes. One of New York's biggest vegan chefs is closing her Brooklyn vegan comfort food restaurant this summer. Owner Isa Chandra Moskowitz will shutter Modern Love at 317 Union Avenue near South 1st Street in Williamsburg sometime in June after 8 years of service. Moskowitz tells Eater via email that she had to close Modern Love basically because the business model wasn't working and she had to change the entire concept. The pandemic shift to more deliveries and takeout business isn't sustainable for a sit-down restaurant, she explains. While the restaurant does offer pickup and delivery orders, and according to her, sales were good, it's impossible to absorb the cuts that third-party apps take. At the same time, earlier in April, Moskowitz urged people to visit the restaurant so she could raise money to fix the air conditioning, opting not to go the GoFundMe route.
Please remember that when you're considering DoorDashing or doing any one of the several meal delivery services from a restaurant, they get dinged really badly with fees and stuff from those places. So if you can call directly and order and then go pick it up.
That's right. This isn't the end for Modern Love, though. Moskowitz wants to relocate the restaurant with a different service model. She hasn't set a last date of service yet. Fellow vegan restaurants like Seasoned Vegan, which also closed in late April, and Toad Style flocked to the Instagram announcement post to share their love and condolences for the restaurant. Meanwhile, fans like singer and musician Ted Leo chimed in, writing that the restaurant is the best, and we're here for whatever you do next, my friend. Modern Love was known for its American vegan comfort food, which New York Magazine described as innovative, plant-based renderings of various hearty classics. That includes dishes like the mushroom fried chicken, truffled poutine, and the cashew cheddar macaroni. Brooklyn native Moskowitz is one of New York's earlier vegan leaders. She hosted her own cooking show, Post-Punk Kitchen, from 2003 to 2005, and wrote cookbooks like Vegan with a Vengeance and Veganomicon. And actually, she first opened Modern Love in Omaha in 2013. Then she expanded into Brooklyn in 2016. The Nebraska location moved addresses in 2018 and ended up closing in late 2024.
Here's what kind of happened with a lot of restaurants. When COVID hit, the only way they could survive was through
takeout
and
delivery
and DoorDash and all that. And then all of us we came to rely on those services instead of putting on our pants and going to pick up our food.
Come on, people, put on your pants and go get some food.
Yeah. So it is really hurt so many restaurants
really
that people aren't actually going to the restaurant to eat. And, people who did pick up for Modern Love, wow, you were really missing out because they have such a really great atmosphere there. And the staff was always fun and knowledgeable. And it was a beautiful little restaurant, and we're just so sad to see Isa having to shutter it. She has said on her social medias, Like the article said, that she is seeking out another space somewhere else, and she's definitely not done restaurant touring. So
I have no trouble believing that at all.
Yeah.
She is a force of nature, and I have absolutely no doubt that she will come back with something pretty spectacular.
Yeah, and we'll be there for it.
Yeah, we will.
We'll support as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, we only got to go to Modern Love once, but it was an incredible experience. And I'm just glad that we did manage to get there.
Yeah. In other terrible news for vegan restaurants, Planta, if you know Planta, they have restaurants all over the place. They're filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Now, Planta holds a very special place in our hearts because Planta Queen, which is the original location in Toronto, which was founded in 2016, was the first fully vegan restaurant we ever went to.
It's true.
And we had gone vegan about 6 or 7 months before visiting Planta.
Yeah.
And we had forgotten how great it was to walk into a restaurant and be able to have anything on the menu.
I know. It was like, my people.
It was. It really was incredible.
Yeah.
So Planta, a plant-based restaurant concept founded in 2016 in Toronto, Canada, has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the District of Delaware, along with 17 affiliates within the Miami Beach, Florida-based CHG US Holdings. Planta has locations in Coconut Grove, West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miami Beach, and Palm Beach, Florida, as well as 2 locations in Atlanta, 2 locations in New York, 1 in Chicago, 2 in Toronto. It used to be 4 in Toronto, but it's now just down to 2. 2 in Los Angeles and 3 in the Washington, D.C. area. Planta is led by founder and chief executive officer Stephen Salm and co-founder and executive chef David Lee. They opened the first location with the goal of expanding the accessibility and acceptability of plant-based dining, according to the company's website. The company said it strives to operate in a paperless and reduced waste environment, eliminating paper checks, printed materials, and single-use water bottles, for instance. The menu is focused on seasonal and local produce and varies by location. Some examples include pad thai slaw, Chinese chicken salad, and Japanese steak. They also make the best vegan dragon roll we've ever had.
Really good. They make really good sushi.
Amazing sushi. In its petition, Planta listed $50,000 to $100,000 in assets and $10 to $50 million in liabilities.
Ouch.
Yeah. Major creditors include landlords, food vendors, and service providers. The Atlanta Buckhead location lists rent as its biggest claim at $613,188, while a law firm is owed more than $316,000.
Wow.
According to the petition, funds will be available to pay unsecured creditors after administrative expenses are paid. This bankruptcy marks the latest challenge for the plant-based category. Neat Burger recently closed all but 2 of its locations following a broader trend of plant-based and vegan concept closures. For instance, Kevin Hart's vegan quick service chain Hart House also recently closed all 4 of its locations in late 2024 after a 2-year run.
But I have read in other articles, Planta does not expect to be closing restaurants. They're $10 to $50 million in debt.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. And so what we are hoping, beyond hope, is that while this is obviously a challenging time for the company, that it will prove to be more of a restructuring than anything else that will make the brand more sustainable over time.
Yeah, it kind of screams that they grew too fast
is what I'm thinking.
Too big, too fast, and that happens with a lot of businesses.
Yeah,
that start out small. I also read that the Canadian locations aren't going to be affected at all by this. This is a U.S. bankruptcy.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't even include the Canadian
the
locations.
2 remaining locations in Toronto.
Yeah.
Well, that's good because Planta Queen is still one of our favorites.
Yeah. So if there's a Planta near you,
go there.
Yeah. Go there and support.
Yes, go there and support. It actually makes me sad that we didn't go to one of the New York plantas when we were there.
I know.
But there were so many other things to try.
And in other bad news for vegan restaurateurs, Herbivorous Butcher, they were devastated by a terrible building fire.
Yes, they were. So Herbivorous Butcher's owners are vowing to rebuild after a fire closes their vegan butcher shop. Supporters have already donated more than $16,000 for repairs. A kitchen fire ripped through the Herbivorous Butcher on Tuesday night, and the nation's first vegan butcher shop sustained serious damage. No injuries were reported as firefighters arrived around 9 p.m. on Tuesday, May 13th. The restaurant has closed as ownership assesses the damage with the intent of temporarily moving some production to St. Paul sibling Jay Selby's. Still, siblings Aubrey and Cale Walsh remain hopeful and vow to reopen their vegan institution. They've already raised more than $16,000 as they start their journey toward reopening. The cause of the fire remains under investigation, but Aubrey Walsh, via an emailed statement to Eater, writes that the blaze began in the ceiling above the kitchen. Sprinklers suppressed most of the flames but flooded the space. Walsh says they're heartbroken. This shop has always been more than just a business. It's a space we built with love for our team, our customers, and our community. Through a variety of techniques, Herbivorous Butcher creates vegan food that tastes like meat. Popular items include pastrami, a porterhouse steak, brie cheese, and Korean-style short ribs. The operation has been around since 2014 as a farmer's market vendor before opening a permanent location in 2016. The food has wowed vegans and omnivores alike. Media quickly labeled the restaurant as the world's first vegan butcher shop, and vegans in other parts of the country have longed for a similar restaurant to open in their hometowns. Though repairs to the space could take a while, much of the kitchen equipment, the appliances used to steam and smoke the vegan meats, remains intact. Walsh has remained optimistic. In an interview with the Star Tribune, he joked and wondered if the fried chicken made earlier in the week survived the fire. You know, smoked chicken. There's a market for it, he says.
Vegan chicken, that is.
Of course. Vegans from across the country have been donating to the restaurant's GoFundMe, which has a goal of $100,000 to start. Walsh says they'll continue to share updates on that fundraiser's page. And if you're able to donate in any amount, it makes a real difference. Thank you for standing with us.
Yeah, and we'll include a link to their GoFundMe.
We certainly will.
They shared pictures on their Instagram of the damage, and it was like a bomb hit the place because what they said in the post was that firefighters, they basically had to destroy the walls and the ceiling and everything to make sure that the fire was out.
Completely out. Yep.
So it wasn't just water damage. Everything was just destroyed, axed, it was just mayhem.
Yeah.
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 So I feel really bad for them.
I do too.
I hope that they can rebuild it. I'm sure they're just completely devastated. On that note, remember to support your vegan restaurants.
Yes. And we are actually going to very shortly, and I think I might mean this week by that.
Okay.
We'll be supporting this week's assignment, Restaurant SOS.
We will. Before we get into that, we want to talk about supporting one of our local eateries, Strong Hearts in Buffalo.
Yes, indeed.
Last week we had the privilege to be invited to one of our friends' 10-year vegan anniversary.
Veganiversary!
And so we all met up at Strong Hearts in Buffalo and had a wonderful meal.
Yes,
and
we did.
Great conversation. I had, of course, the Reuben, because I can't, when I see it on the menu, I can't see beyond it. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
We also got an order of something that's new on their menu. Some onion rings, and they were pretty good.
They were.
What did you get? You got a burger,
I got
right?
a burger. Yes, I got a burger. I did a build your own burger.
Yeah.
So I put all kinds of stuff on it, from tempeh bacon to avocado. Like, give me a list of things.
When Sam sees build your own, it's like, okay, are you ready? Because I'm going to add everything on the list.
No, not everything. I'm strategic in my additions.
Well, yeah, I mean, because everything might be kind of gross.
Yes,
because
but
some things don't go together. But when she brought her food to the table, it was very large. It was, a good 6 inches tall.
It was a truly well-stacked burger.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it was delicious.
We also had a chocolate peanut butter milkshake, which was delicious. We shared it. It was so good.
We've been going to Strong Hearts since they opened in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And we had yet, until last Tuesday, to try one of their milkshakes.
Because we were always too full.
That's right. So this time, instead of having like a cupcake for dessert, we decided to split a chocolate peanut butter milkshake.
And it was delicious.
It was fantastic.
Yeah. They have like 25 different flavors of milkshakes.
Yeah. Pretty amazing.
So good. Mm-hmm. So good. Okay, now on to our assignment restaurant, SOS.
This week, we are featuring Sevens Cafe and Bakery. Located at 225 Louisiana Street, Buffalo, New York, Sevens is a brand new kid on the block. They are fully vegan, and they serve up great sounding coffee and tea drinks, sandwiches, and baked goods.
So Sevens Cafe and Bakery, brand new. It's so exciting when a brand new vegan restaurant opens up, and we can't wait to go there and try them out. So let's take a look. They don't have a website yet, but I did find their menu on Yelp. Believe it or not, I found a picture of it that somebody posted.
It's only part of their menu, though.
Yeah.
It's not the whole thing.
I don't think it is.
But still, I'm seeing some sandwiches on here that are really, really interesting. Already, I'm looking at the miso eggplant, which is tempura eggplant tossed in miso caramel glaze, Japanese slaw, and pickled ginger.
That sounds so good. And they're served on house-made focaccia bread.
Can't go wrong there. And there is a gluten-free option for those of you who are gluten-free. So
That's
that
great.
is a possibility.
That's great.
They also have one called Go Bills.
The Go Bills.
Which is roasted artichoke hearts, buffalo cashew spread, carrot and celeriac slaw, and house-made blue cheese.
Sounds good.
They do sound really, really good.
They have a tofu Caesar sandwich. It's blackened tofu, crispy chickpeas, Caesar dressing, kale and broccoli salad, and hemp seed parm. That sounds good.
It does. As does the harissa mushroom sandwich. This is flat 12 mushroom medley covered in house-made harissa, rocket and mint salad, cilantro aioli, and pistachio sprinkle. Unfortunately, that's kind of all we can divulge of their menu.
Yeah, I couldn't find a full menu online, so this is all we have. So we have to go there and actually get a menu, and then we will report back. They, of course, have tons of really great sounding coffee drinks. They have a section called Not Coffee, which has hot matcha latte, loose leaf teas. They have bagels, and of course they have vegan cream cheeses. They have a regular vegan cream cheese. They have a scallion cream cheese, and you can get pistachio milk.
Nice.
They have flavored syrups, of course, to put in your coffee, and you can get extra double shots in your espresso. So yeah, Sevens Cafe and Bakery. Like I said, I can't wait to check them out.
Yeah, I'm thinking we need to go this weekend.
Yeah.
Just go up on Saturday and have a meal at Sevens, maybe visit the vegan grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a day of it.
I think so.
Yeah. So again, they're located at 225 Louisiana Street in Buffalo, New York. If you have gone or plan on going to Sevens in the near future, email us a picture of what you got there and let us know what it was and how it was. And we will enter you in to win a gift card in our monthly vegan dinner winner contest. Now it's time for our favorite portion of the show.
Must be listener shout out time.
It's listener shout out.
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week's listener shout out goes to Will Westcott. He is a new YouTube subscriber. Thanks for the sub, Will. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks, Will. If it wasn't for you new YouTube subscribers, I would be completely out of listener shout outs.
And Christine hates to be out of listener shout outs.
No, a little part of my heart dies.
I know.
When that happens.
I've seen it happen.
It's terrible. But Will, if you're listening to this, please send us your t-shirt size and address so we can send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag. You can either text us using the link in the show notes, or you can email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com, or you can always DM us on our socials, which are Instagram or Facebook.
And for the rest of you out there, if you want a listener shout out, please email, text, or DM us. Let us know what you think of the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can also always nominate someone else for a shout out.
I guess it's time to wrap this baby up.
I think it is.
But before we go, we always like to remind you to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app and subscribe to our YouTube like Will did. Share the show with a friend or a family member so that we can reach more incredible people just like you. Want to get news about the show? You can do that by subscribing to our weekly newsletter at compassionandcucumbers.com.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 185 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion. On the podcast.
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
We do. Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.